So to get that going again and to feel that it's doing something worthwhile has brought back lots of memories, which has been lovely.
Great, lovely. What else have we got here? Wendy, are you there?
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't sewn since I was at school, and I wasn't very good then. I don't think I ever finished a garment. So it's I was bought a sewing machine about 10 years ago to present. so it's great to learn how to use it, and I feel so good that I'm helping in this big fight and battle we've got on at the moment.
That's lovely to hear, Wendy. I know that sometimes, Caroline wants to come back in later. I know sometimes our NHS colleagues find the language of battle quite hard because it makes it feel like people who are ill aren't really trying hard enough. And so I know that language is really difficult for people, but so important for some of us. We feel like we really want to, people sort of remember the war effort, don't we? And that contribution that we're making and coming together as a community. And I know that's how it's meant. About Sue, there's Sue. You were a GP before. Do you want to say anything? What about? Go on, are you there?
It took me a while. The button was really amazed by what we're asking our NHS colleagues to do. You can tell, and it makes me feel better to do something.
Yeah, thank you.
You're all wonderful.
And I think that it's really hard, isn't it, when we know that people are making very difficult decisions about their own personal families, and we watch our NHS colleagues, some of whom are really struggling. I know just round the corner from me, Sam, just a second, just round the corner from me, there was a lady sat on the doorstep who was a nurse just crying because she didn't want to go back into her family because she was scared. And I think that everyone's scared, including our clinical colleagues. And so we're both very grateful, but we step into their shoes, don't we, when we feel a bit of that. So it's really good to acknowledge that in ourselves, and it's really good to acknowledge that as part of what we're doing. I think it's a great leveler in an awful way, but in a wonderful way at the same time. I'm going to go back to Caroline on that note. Caroline, do you want to unmute yourself and just say something in response to that? Okay, I'll with these two.
I just wanted to say one thing. So one of the things I've been worrying about and has come out when I've been speaking to patients this week is not surprisingly an increase in loneliness, especially people who are isolating on their own, who maybe normally have a very active life and are now feeling very much on their own, as if they're fighting this sort of silently, just on their own, and that's been really difficult for them. And we've been doing quite a lot of wellbeing checks at the surgery, so we've been ringing patients, just having a chat, seeing how they're doing. And I spoke to a lady the other day who said she'd started to sew scrubs, and she's not in this particular group, but she'd started to sew scrubs for a different group, and she said it had transformed her life because it's given her a purpose, it's given her a reason to get up in the morning, it's given her connection with some of the other people that are also sewing, and there've been email and phone contacts most days from the person organising that groups. And she said that has transformed her life in the way she wouldn't have imagined. She's quite elderly, she has no family, so nobody else really has been ringing her. So I just wanted to reflect back on that to you, to say that actually all of you just together in this group, as well as really supporting the medical community, are hopefully making a massive difference in the community at supporting each other as well, and just keeping into contact with each other. And I think going forward, especially as this continues for some time, that will be really important, keeping those links together. So that's another reason why I think it's a really worthwhile thing to do.
Oh, Becky, you've muted yourself.
Sorry, because we've got things in the background. You know, life has to carry on, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but I do loads of work. It's like, do you know what? I may as well just show you my kitchen. I'll show you what my living room looks like. I mean, it's so personal, this, isn't it?
Pushing me out.
Yeah. Anyway, Amanda,
Okay, yeah, so this would be a really great time to talk about some of the ideas that Becky and I've been talking with sort of Caroline and everybody. But I must just say, I was going to put how lovely it is to work with my husband on a project until we've sat down to do this Zoom where he's like, do this, do that, do that. And I'm like, stop pressing the buttons. So, okay, so to take up the idea of sort of making friends, being part of a community. And I must say, from our point of view, it has been fantastic. You know, we've been able to speak to people, and like when you come and pick the stuff up in the sort of cul-de-sac outside our house, people are chatting, and that whole sort of sense of isolation that we maybe feel because we can't go and see our families and stuff is actually sort of, that's really helped ease that situation. So to go forward, what we really love to do with this group is start maybe looking at how we could group people together to give you the chance to build your own groups and clusters, because being such a huge group, it is quite difficult to make sure that we're sort of chatting on a daily basis. And I know John has been doing a fantastic job on the WhatsApp, sort of trying to answer all your technical questions, even though he's not sewn since he was about 7 at school. So we're just thinking maybe having some geographically sort of based clusters. But the other thing that I would really like to do is have some welcome buddies, so that when people join the group and they come and they said, oh, my friend or my neighbour says I can help sew some scrubs, is that somebody welcomes them into the group. Maybe they haven't sewn for a really long time. Maybe, like many of you, their sewing machine's been sat in the cupboard and not come out. And maybe we could have some people, and I know I spoke to Annette from Lister Street about budding you up with newcomers. So Becky's put this on a slide here, some ideas. It'd be really great to hear from everybody else about what they would like to do and how we can do that. I think one of the other things is, I know that we've been speaking to people outside our sort of area about helping them set up their own groups, especially over in Keighley. So we're going to be doing a public facing like web page, which has got top tips. But yeah, so I think maybe, like, as we've got here, if you post any other ideas in the chat box, let's hear what you think about the buddying groups, the clusters and the buddying groups. Becky, have you got a map?
Yeah, I'll show you in a second. Just a little bit about, I know we've had lots of requests from people around doing scrubs outside the area.
Yeah.
And as Caroline was saying, one of the important things is how this gives people a chance to gift back. It is so we really want to support that in other groups. There's loads on For the Love of Scrubs on Facebook. It's not incredibly well organised. We've already got one spin-off group in London that's copied. There's some others that want to do it. So the web page is going to help you and others. If anybody asks you, could you make scrubs? You're more than welcome to, of course. But if we can help take this sort of more asset model where people can start setting up their own groups, getting together, you know, doing things together that might last beyond the life of sewing. There is beyond the life of sewing. I'm in a sewing group. I shouldn't ever say that, I know.
Is there other life? we don't know.
But if there is, which there could be, but we also realise that, so there's help with that, but there's also, as we move through this, it's not just sewing scrubs, there's going to be all sorts of other sewing projects we can do. But we could also set up sewing classes. We can think about the time when we can physically meet and can do some things. So it would be lovely to use this set of relationships we're developing here and begin to do things together that support the health and well-being of our community. Because what I saw in the chat was how much being part of something and doing something useful and productive really helps all of us in our lives.
I don't know whether you've just seen that John has already volunteered to coordinate like the buddying scheme. So here he is.
Oh. We're going to try this in a second. So we've got these groups as a starting point, which is that I'm going to try, well, this is going to freak Amanda out totally because she hates the IT side of this. So I'm going to try and see whether, I'm going to get the chat up in a minute and ask you to put which area you live in, and then we're going to see if you can meet and actually talk, because talking as 60 of us is incredibly hard. but talking as 8 to 10 of us is much, much easier. So I'm going to stop the share. You can see who you all are. And I'm going to start breakout rooms. So if you could write in the chat box which group you want to be in. Okay. So the first, I'm going to do north, and I'm going to do south. I'm going to do west, and I'm going to do Ben Ridding, Ben R. And I'm going to start assigning you as you put your names up. So Mike has said he's Ben Ridding, for instance, yeah?
That's going to be difficult to do.
Oh my goodness, Becky.
So you can, we'll start there. We'll get going in a minute. So Mike, so Beanlands Parade is north, and that's
Wow.
the Buchanan. Okay. And then who else have we got? So Yvonne is Ben Ridding.
So does St James's Road, like half of you live in one ward and half of you live in the other ward?
So it just takes a little time, but it won't be too
Yeah.
bad. And you might end up in the wrong room, and I'm sorry if you do.
I think the thing here is, like, I'm totally freaked out by this idea. So it's just one of the things we're going to try, and hopefully we can all sort of get to grips with the sort of whole Zooming, talking. It's your
You can
first
chat
time,
now a bit while I'm doing this. That's fine.
Say again.
You can chat while I'm doing this.
Okay. What could we chat about? Oh, I don't know. What would you like to chat about?
I don't know.
Can I just say, I am loving everybody's pictures on the WhatsApp group. Your machines are.
You're not on, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
This is what I have to put up with, guys. It's just like
I've got a yellow box around the screen.
we work together as a team really well. No, your sewing machines are lovely, and their stories I think are beautiful. In my garage I've got about 7 hand cranked machines, and I know people absolutely love that. So please do continue to share those stories, and also other people in your family helping. So Rebecca, over there's a couple of you there. Do you both sew together?
I don't know where King's Road is in terms of which one it's in, so if you could just let me know.
Hang on. Oh, hi, Amanda.
Yes.
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 Yes, yay. So this is my daughter Kirsty. She's just started to do a lot of sewing. I actually mainly do quilting, so it's quilting which I enjoy doing most, but Kirsty's doing a lot of dressmaking now, so she was keen to get involved in the scrubs and that, so we gave it a whirl. So Kirsty doesn't usually live with me at home, but obviously because of COVID-19, she's come up from Bristol, so it's actually been a wonderful opportunity to do something together. It's been really lovely to sew together. Really enjoyed it.
That is so lovely. I always say that, when I do my sort of workshop sessions, I'm never the best sewer in the room, and there's always a domestic science teacher there, and who sews way better than anybody else. But I think it's been, for lots of families, something that you can do together. We've done stuff together, got our daughter involved. I know there's a husband sewing. Whose husband is it that's sewing? Yeah.
Alan's? No.
Whose husband is sewing at the moment? I don't know. I'm like scrolling through everybody. No.
If people want to, whilst we're doing this, if people want to just chat about any of the ideas they've thought of, then do just unmute yourselves and talk about them, because I'm recording this, so it's fine.
Okay, so whilst Becky's sort of putting us all into chat groups, any sort of ideas about how you think we can do better, what you'd like us to see, doing a little bit more as a group? You just unmute yourselves in the corner.
Could I just come in? It's like Charlotte here.
Just to say that I know there's a couple of ladies in their 80s that are sewing in this group. I'm not sure they do WhatsApp or anything. And I do just wonder if, whatever we do, if we can find a way that we can try and include people like that as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? That's why we have all the we have the emails and we have the WhatsApp and we have the web page. But if there's a way that we can include those people as well, I think it's obviously really, really important. You know, I know that people come and sort of chat to us, and that's nice. Sue, did you want to say something there?
Oh, really, alongside that, I'm part of U3A, and I was their chair until recently. I was really struck when I met one of the members by the post office, and I'm finding lockdown quite pleasant, but she lives in a flat on her own in her 80s, and she's obviously quite miserable. And I was wondering if we could actually advertise more actively to them, because
we just lost the end of that, Sue.
To be involved. I was saying, I wonder if I could advertise more actively to them, because I think there are a lot of members in that age group who would love to be more active and involved, and it would mean a lot to them because they are having to isolate in less pleasant circumstances than many of us.
Mary, Mary, where are you? Mary, would you like to talk a little bit about the way people can get sort of involved in other bits of volunteering, but how locally we're supporting people who are feeling isolated?
Can you hear me, Amanda?
There you are. Yes, there. Yeah.
Just to introduce myself, I'm part of the Corona response team that deals with the helpline. So it's lovely for me to see lots of faces to names that I've seen many times on the spreadsheet. That's been nice. Can I just say that we have about 410 volunteers at the moment on the list. And part of the problem is, and it's not just us in Ilkley, it's across Keighley and Bradford, and I think nationally as well, there are more volunteers than roles. So that's why with the sewing group, it's been great to see that, you know, I know Amanda said that you had 127 on your group, but there was about 40 of those came from the helpline to Amanda initially. So for you all, it's great that you've got something to do. And how wide that goes is really up to, you know, Amanda and the team regarding the sewing. Part of it will be the management. I think that's what you're trying to look at now, Amanda, isn't that right? Yeah. But, you know, undoubtedly it's been a great success on two fronts, because when you volunteer to do something, you do it for the greater good, but you also need to get something back from it yourself. And so that's very evident from just, you know, Amanda's reports and then hearing you today. But regarding the volunteers that we've got on the helpline at the minute, to date, we have had 188 calls into the helpline. But, and last week, for example, we had 31 calls, but that was only 23 requests for assistance, which is usually shopping, quite a lot of prescription pickup. So as you can see, it's not a lot really at the minute. And one of the things that we're trying to do with a leaflet drop was to encourage people to use the helpline as a way of getting their shopping done or prescriptions. And again, 50 volunteers came forward from the helpline request to distribute leaflets. So at the minute, we're sort of limited in what we can actually offer to volunteers. We just don't know how long this is going to go for, if we're going to have a big peak or something. But all I can ask you to do is to bear with us. The other thing that we are very, I suppose, considering is that we should start, first of all, using volunteers that have got DBS adult enhanced certificates, and that's just purely for safety. And that's also because we are dealing with people, a lot of people who are on their own, who are classed as vulnerable. And so if we've got those people, we should use those first. And to date, we've been very lucky. Good Neighbours, Ilkley District Good Neighbours, they are overseeing that side of it. They have got about 57 volunteers of their own, and we have been using up to between 30 and 40 that we are finding on the helpline that have got DBSs. And we are going to actually invite about another 30 letters have got, or emails have gone out recently to see if they want to get a DBS done as well. So although it may seem slow and you might have put your name down, you're not forgotten. That's why I recognize so many names, because I'm trawling up and down that list trying to see how I can use you. I mean, some of you may have even had an email from me asking for your DBS photos. But you know, the sewing groups is a really, really good, successful voluntary thing, and it's contributing really good stuff to the, not just practically, but in morale as well. I mean, I see that when Caroline does her presentation to the group, you know, about how much it means not just to her, but to her colleagues as well. So, you know, all I can say is thank you. If you've got any questions, by all means, ask me. You can phone the helpline, because I also I'm on that as well with 2 other colleagues. But we're not overly busy at the minute, really, which is good in many respects. But at the meeting yesterday, it was commented that there are a lot of over 70s going to Tesco's, and, you know, maybe they don't know that there is help for them. So if you get the chance to, you know, pass that word around, please do.
Thanks, Mary. That's really, really helpful. I've got everybody in the room, and the people I couldn't find, you're in random room.
Oh,
Can I just open the room? What will happen, everybody, is it'll all look a bit dead, and then you'll magically appear in a room with colleagues who hopefully live near you. Fingers crossed. Sam, sorry. Background noise. And it'll close after 15 minutes, and you will come back here automatically. Okay, so you don't have to.
Before we do that, I think Anne's trying to say something before we all disappear.
I am. I wanted to ask Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Anne.
Hi. The DBS. Will you accept DBS? I'm a DBS in 2 areas, but you're not asking us to be DBS again for your group. You would accept an external DBS?
Yeah.
Right, that's fine.
I think so, folks, if you've got any questions, pop them on the chat, and we'll, whilst you're doing your coffee, your virtual little group coffee, at least introduce yourselves to each other. See if anybody is willing to be a buddy person. Anybody wants to take some lead in that group will be marvelous. Let us know your ideas, but you've got time to introduce yourself. Most of you in groups of 7 to 8. There's one slightly bigger group. But enjoy at least meeting each other, and then take notes, think of any questions. And if you wouldn't mind, whilst you're in the group, the things you're coming up with, if you put them on the WhatsApp, then Amanda and I will stay in this space, and we'll chat about what you're, and John, and we'll chat about what we're seeing on the WhatsApp group as we go. So I'm opening the rooms. There'll be 15 minutes, and we'll see you back here. It will just work automatically.
Cool. See you all in a minute.
There we go. Anybody?
Oh my gosh, it's like magic. It's freaking me out.
I will join you now.
Okay. Oh, here we go. And off.
Mary, where do you live? Which part of? You could stay with us. Fine. Oh, sorry. I'll just unmute you, Mary. Oh, there you go, Mary.
I'm in Little Lane.
Oh, cool. Good. So how do I now allocate unassigned? Here we go. 3. And there we go. Assign. Mary, you're in Little Lane, so you go to South. And is anybody else here?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Where do you go? Where do you live? Oops.
I'm really sorry, I know your face, but I can't remember your name.
I'll unmute you then. Okay, whereabouts do you live? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's Andrea, St James.
St James's Road.
Yeah.
Assigned to.
Ah, yes.
Assigned to West, I think that. Okay. I'm just going to join one of the breakout rooms because they've asked for some help.
ACCA Federation, which is a group of 8 general practices that cover this area, but we also have one of our practices in Keighley and one of our practices in Settle. Once we'd supplied all the practices in this area, I put the call out to the other practices from the other GP Federation, which is called Modality, which covers the rest of Keighley and into Cross Hills and in much more deprived areas of our health CCG. and they came and picked up 127 sets of scrubs from me on Monday, and they're coming to pick up some more today. So we have made sure that everywhere is covered. It came to us first, but everywhere is being covered, and anything that's been left so far I've been offering to inner city practices in Bradford. So the idea is, if there isn't coordination in those areas to support their local practices that we've been so fortunate to have here, then we will still make sure those areas are covered by people volunteering from within the health, within the population that we have here. But that was a great question, thank you.
You asked for me to join you because it said you'd asked for help, or are you all right?
No,
I'm leaving you to it then.
A question I.
Right, that's fine. Because if they get stuck, they can.
Oh, hello.
There's Pat. Pat, where are you going, Pat? Let me just assign you to a room. Unmute you. I'm trying to.
Actually.
Sorry, Pat. Did you just bring yourself out of your room?
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, it just does it automatically. So let me try and allocate you now.
I actually live up Eastby Drive.
Okay, so are you Pat? Well, let me see if I can find.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Fire Eastby Drive.
Yes.
South, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm on Eastby Close, but it's Eastby Drive. Yes.
And that's it.
And also, this is the first time I've done this Zoom, so I don't know how to write anything in the chat.
Pat, you've managed to. Oh, here we are. Move to 5. There we go. I'm going to send you off. So where did you say you live, Pat?
Eastby Close, off Eastby Drive.
West. You're off to West now.
I thought it was West.
Thank you.
So much fun.
You're gone.
Have I gone?
No.
I'm still there.
You're still there. I can see you.
I know.
You.
Move to.
It's the first time I've done this as well, Pat. I've not been on
I haven't joined the group for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do the chat. So I just had to stay still.
For some reason, it thinks you're not even in our Zoom. Which is.
I did sign in, just as Pat, yes.
But you'll just have to stay here with us.
Okay, that's good.
Here's somebody else. Who's this?
Hi, it's Kim. Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Oh, hi, Kim.
I was sewing. I'll just stay here, Kim. You may as well catch up with us. We've just given people into small groups that are geographically, people who live near each other, to have a chat with people who live near each other.
Oh, right. Good idea.
Whereabouts do you live, Kim?
I'm in Burley.
I can send you off to, not in. So sort of a reading group.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would be
great. I'll send you there for a chat.
That's fine.
Off you go. It's only Pat. Don't know what's up.
I'm still here.
John is on WhatsApp trying to sort other people out as well. So So yeah. So how did you get involved, Pat?
I bumped into a friend of mine on one of my walks, and she told me about you. So I emailed Amanda and got invited to join this Zoom meeting.
Excellent.
I feel that I'm not good enough to sew the actual scrubs, but I could do the bags.
Excellent.
Well,
the bags are lovely, actually.
Actually, I had someone ring me today, and she was so apologetic. She tried to sew scrubs, and she said, "It's so awful. I'm too embarrassed to bring it." She said she made a top, and she said her sewing was awful. And I was having a bit of a giggle about it, as you do. And she said, "Oh, don't you mind?" She said, "I'm so embarrassed. I thought you'd be cross." I said, "Well, cross. I think it's funny."
Can you tell me the dimensions of the bags? Because I have some material. I could make some.
Good. Pump bags, so pillowcases?
Yeah, I always say they're just a bit bigger than a sort of pump bag, like we'd take to school when we were kids.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Guess it.
Yeah, so I would say, like, this is a tea towel. Just happen to have one here. So if you a tea towel and fold it in half.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's a good guide. Excellent.
That's a good guide. In fact, I'm going to write that down and say that afterwards.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Half a tea towel size. Yes.
Yeah. Because basically they take their scrubs off and then bung them in there and bung the whole thing in the...
I understand.
Yeah. So yes, but I think there's lots of other things as well. Like we've got an ironing group. So a lovely lady around the corner who does all like irons the stuff and then dyes the stuff. So you don't necessarily have to be a sewer, and I think half the thing is being part of a group, isn't it, and having that.
I think a lot of it is knowing what you can do and what's needed.
Yeah,
like you say, iron. Yes.
Well, it's not strictly true. I did say once.
Almost.
So yeah, I mean, it's just I think as the group sort of evolves, there's just other things to get involved with, isn't there, Becky? So
yeah, there are. Yeah, and some of it is, some people need things picking up and dropping off. And, there's just all sorts. So there will be more. I think not just scrubs, but there'll be different sorts of PPE that we'll be making, and every talent is catered for.
John has bought
this is the only thing I ever sewed.
Look at that.
Oh, that is wonderful. What is it?
Exactly.
It's one of those things, when you're at school and you have to do.
You make a mat.
But I am going to have to show the group because the back is immaculate.
Oh, it's finished off.
That's the back.
It's finished off so well.
I know.
But they're not really joined the group. So I mean, Alice Knight's husband, he does patchwork and all sorts. He sews. We need to get some more of the men involved. Perhaps we can put John's face on the Scrub WhatsApp group, and it'll come.
That's a good idea.
John with his sewing.
Yeah, here he is. Do you know what? I nearly did that on the WhatsApp this morning. Nearly put like a picture of him on the group.
That brown and blue one was a nightmare, and that one.
That's because you thread it through and the other one.
It's lovely Caroline it was lovely to hear from Caroline, wasn't it? It was so good.
She's so lovely. It is really nice. So yeah, but I think if this if sewing this isn't your thing, then there's lots of other stuff to do, and just sometimes being part of something.
Yeah,
of course. Yes, it's good, especially when you're just by yourself, which I am. So it's just nice to have to do.
Yeah. How do you keep in touch with your family? Do you do Zoom like this with your family?
No, this is the first Zoom I've done. I do WhatsApp videos with my family and FaceTime sometimes, but I haven't done a Zoom. Yeah. But I used to play a lot of bridge when things were normal. So I play bridge online quite a lot. So I do that sort of thing. Yeah. And do a bit of gardening and play with my cat. So, yeah.
We've been doing a lot of yoga in the morning together.
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine does that. In fact, I'm going to give her my yoga blocks because I don't use them anymore and she hasn't got any blocks.
We have to use a Oxford English
It's
dictionary.
really heavy.
Oh, it's not a bit soft either. It's quite hard.
So John isn't quite as flexible, and so he does need a yoga block. So
no, I'm not definitely.
Yeah, so he uses it's like one of the big dictionaries instead of a block. I'm just going to use this opportunity. I'm sorry, just to the bathroom. I'll just leave you with Jonathan.
Okay, hi Jonathan. It just came up there saying that the host has moved me south.
I'm trying to get you anywhere, but you're not going anywhere. Do you have to accept it?
I don't know. I didn't. It had gone by the time, and I'm nearly out of battery too. So I don't know whether I'm north, south, east, or west. I'm having a global conundrum here.
Would you like to do this again sometime?
Yes, I would have liked to get a bit better at it.
So we can use this as practice run, and then we'll meet again in a few weeks' time.
Sounds good to me.
But also, we can share how many we've made and what the next,
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I'll do it on my iPad next time. It'll be a lot better than my phone as well.
Oh, that might be.
Yeah, it'll be easier. Oh well, look, lovely talking to you all. I'm going to go now.
All right.
So I've got an online bridge game in about half an hour.
Oh my goodness, lovely! So nice to meet
nice seeing you.
Plug your phone in.
Love you sewing. So I'll catch up later.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave, but I think.
Oh,
I will.
Oh,
I've left. Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know what she did because she just hadn't joined the Zoom at all. It was very weird.
Maybe it wasn't even.
I don't know whether I've got these rooms right, but I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 in north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 in south. I will have got some of them wrong. There looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 15 in west, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 in Ben Ridding, and then I've got about 6 or 7 that are random. I couldn't work out where they lived because they put their streets on. Do they not know where they lived? Which ward they're in? Oh,
I think one of the things is, well, 2 things I want to sort of round up is like around the FAQs and like technical stuff.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I want to come back to what that lady was just saying, that actually this group now is about friendships and growing friendships and community, and that actually, even if you're not sewing that much, just hang out with the group and be part of it, and sort of.
So one of the WhatsApps is they want feedback from the Scrub users about what do they want us to be doing differently. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. So we can ask Caroline just to give us some feedback, can't we? Because we're
Caroline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's a really good one.
That's the only one on the WhatsApp I've seen so far.
Okay.
That's
all right. God, this absolutely freaks me out going into different groups. It's really odd. I kind of get it.
One if you want. You can pop in. You can visit them. I'm not going to.
No. I'm eating my breakfast.
How long do you think they've had?
I don't know. You're the technical person.
I know it hasn't got a clock thing. I think we went in about 40. Probably it's about 5 minutes ago. Oh, here we are, 45 seconds. Oh, here we go.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
To go before they all come back. Right.
Yeah. I've just seen where the clock is. Just sent them a message.
You aiming to finish at 12? Is that the?
Yeah.
So
did I ask each group to round up?
Yeah. So I've asked them. I've sent them 2 messages. One saying, "Don't forget to put your notes on here," which they haven't done. So maybe they've just chatted and met each other, which is fine. And then they get warnings about how long they have to go.
Okay.
And Caroline was in one of the groups, so she was busy talking to them about. So they've got even more information about the scrubs and what's happened.
See, that's why it's just brilliant.
There's a potential for Skipton to start doing it as well now.
Yeah.
With this Andy and Laura.
Oh yeah, great.
So,
Was that on the
Here they
group?
come.
Was that an email?
it's an email.
Here they
Oh,
come.
brilliant. And then Keithley as well.
It's almost certain Skipton will go for something.
Yeah. Because she got in touch and I was like, it's just too far. You're meant to be staying safe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
It's just
coming
all back. Yes, here's everybody coming back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So they'll come back one at a time.
Hello.
So we just had a countdown. We clicked too soon. Someone was just talking back to us as well. I was like, don't care, we're going. Not good.
It's just like magic, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It's magic. You're so worried about it. It's sort of. I mean, I've probably got people in the wrong room. But
Yes, it's stepping out of my comfort zone. That's what it is. Somebody's got a background on there. That's very typical.
Mine. I've got this. I've got this one.
And so the front
Ilkley as my potential.
we're back again.
And
you can't do backgrounds, John.
So everybody, welcome back. Really great to see you all coming back.
Yeah.
We've still got people coming in.
We've still got people coming.
Helen, did you want to say something? Helen's got a hand up.
Helen or Ellen?
Helen. Helen.
You mean?
It's so nice to see everybody and to put faces to names as well. Yeah. Like Sue and I have been emailing, so it's really nice that we get to sort of see each other.
Yeah. I don't know where Helen is, but she put her hand up for something. Maybe she was just trying to play around with it all.
Sorry, was that me?
Maybe.
I think I was probably just. I'm waving, not drowning. Don't worry.
Oh, I see. Very good. That's good. That's good. We're going to give everybody a chance to say goodbye one by one. But Amanda, did you want to say a couple of things at the end? We've got some lovely feedback about getting feedback from the scrubs from the people who are wearing them. You know,
Yeah.
what's different.
I was going to say, Caroline, that's something that you know, people have said, is that how much, you know, those pictures that you sent, how much that really means to the group. So getting feedback on things like the pockets, things like what it's like to wear them, you know. Hang on a second, Jonathan is messing around my stuff. Stop it. so yeah, anything like that, Caroline, I think is really valuable to the group. If that's something that you can help us with, I think people would appreciate.
I certainly can. I can keep that coming if that's okay, and keep sending it to you, and you can forward it on. Yes, I'll definitely keep that coming.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the other thing that lots and lots of people have said, and I completely get this, being a sewer myself, is all the technical stuff around, like, you know, the necklines, the pockets in the trousers. So
I've just given an answer in our group to the pockets, which somebody asked on the chat before.
Brilliant.
So I would say pockets are lovely, but they're not 100% necessary, and we would much prefer scrubs rather than have scrubs rather than scrubs with pockets and not have scrubs, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
So when people traditionally wear scrubs and they may be doing obstetrics all day, or they may be in A&E, you would put your phone in your pocket, you would put your bleeper somewhere, you'd put your pen somewhere, and therefore pockets are really useful. We're wearing our pockets, we're wearing our scrubs for infection control purposes. When we go and see patients, we leave everything in our rooms and we go and see them in a separate place. So we would leave our mobile phone on our desk, our pens, everything. We take nothing into the room, so we can't pick the virus up on everything. And then we put our PPE over the top. So we don't put anything in our pockets. So, you know, you have to remember to keep taking your phone out of your pocket. So pockets are lovely, but they don't really matter. So if that's a bar for people making scrubs, leave them off. We're just really appreciative of the scrubs. So
I think that's
don't
really,
worry about it too much.
I think that's really welcome news to a lot of people, actually. and also those people who've been ironing, because they always, you know, they're always tricky to iron. So actually that's brilliant. We're going to, over the weekend, do a
couple of questions here.
Oh, okay.
Amanda, for you. There's a couple of things here. So things like all these questions, Amanda, you've got FAQs. You're going to say something about that?
Yeah, I'm going to do an FAQ. So can I just stop?
What?
You wonder what he's doing, don't you? Honestly.
No, with children, dogs and husbands. No, so I'm going to do an FAQ over the weekend, and we'll put that up, and it'll include things like the necklines, how big are the bags. So we were talking earlier on, bags, a tea towel, half a tea towel is perfect size. And so yeah, I'm going to do that, and then Becky can put that on the website, this forward-facing website. The other thing John was just saying, we are starting now this group at Keith Lynn, somebody at Skipton has got in touch, and so we are going to be putting together this model of how to do one of these groups.
So if anybody wants to not only buddy up in Ilkley, but if you could message us, maybe not on the WhatsApp, either message John or me or Amanda, one of us. If you could just message us if you will be willing to be contacted by Keithley Group or Skipton Group, who are setting up and want some advice and help, with, you know, doing a bit of budding out of area as they get going would be really lovely.
Yeah.
There's a question here, Amanda, about material. So A, that if we don't do pockets, we'll save some, but B, are we okay for material? Should we be fundraising?
Okay, we are very much okay with material. John got this call, I don't know, email, something from the Operatic Society, and disappeared. And I came down sort of from doing some work, and he's there with like 8 rolls of fabric in the car, which somebody is cutting up at the moment. Who's cutting it? Somebody's cutting it all up at the moment, and we've got some. And then there's Rachel Layla over on Coutances Way, and she's doing fundraising and then supplying us with fabric, so all those bubblegum colours that have been out are absolutely super, and that's keeping us going. But there is a pot of money that for us to produce scrubs for people sort of like in the Ilkley area. So that's what Caroline and I sort of like on our group, that's what we are identifying that need. So yeah, that's ongoing. I'll keep everybody sort of.
So the next suggestion, which sounds good, is that about folks who weren't here today joining in their area group. We'll set up sub WhatsApp groups so that you can have a mini group for your area. The other question was around how, you know, if we start splitting tasks up, we're going to start potentially passing infection around. We've got to really, you know, stay safe, stay home, minimize your contacts. And that's part of the reason why we've not allowed people to drive across moors to deliver us material from other parts of, or, you know, so we're trying to, so everyone's got to be as sensible as possible. I know some people need things delivered. I know you know exactly how to make sure that if something's delivered that you're safe, that you're washing things, that you're washing your hands, etc. So we all know you know how to do that, but we are minimizing contact. So as much as you can do yourself, the better. We have to cut up strips of material for you, and Amanda's doing that with a couple of people, ask you to use gloves, etc. But you might want to wash your material before you use it if you're anxious about that.
Yeah. Okay. I think before we all go.
Care homes. Sorry, another one. Care homes.
Oh, care homes. Becky, Caroline, how are we with the care homes? What's the situation there? Would you like to explain to everybody how we're like ascertaining that need and what we're going to be doing?
Yes, thank you for that question. So one of the things we've done, as I said, I'm a member of the WACA GP Federation, which is 8 GP practices, 4 of which cover this area. And we have allocated a lady called Amanda, who's a PA to that group. Not you, no, a different Amanda, to ring round all the local care homes or be in contact with them via email to see how they're all doing. In that way, we've managed to highlight that some care homes are really short of protective equipment, things like gloves and surgical face masks. And actually so we're trying to address that, and we've passed quite a lot of that information on to our local MP, Robbie Moore, who's been really keen to try and resolve that for us. So that's been very useful. We have spoken to them about things like scrubs. Now, as I said to you before, scrubs aren't PPE, they're what we wear instead of our clothes. So if people are working in the community as maybe district nurses or carers that go to people's homes, or if people are in a care home, they should normally be wearing a uniform. And the uniform is what they can then throw in the washing machine at the end of the day, and scrubs are instead of the uniform. So I don't think care homes really need scrubs. I think their concern is that they don't have something over their arms, but for infection control purposes, we're meant to be bare below the elbows. And when you are washing your hands, if you've dealt with a patient, you're meant to wash up to your elbows. So I don't think the scrubs per se would help them, but I'm sure there's lots of other ways we could think of that would make our local care homes feel that they're very supported. And as I say, we are trying to contact them all to find out where their specific needs are, so that we can come up with a plan as to how we can help them and make them feel supported as part of the health and care network.
Marvellous.
Oh,
I think we're coming to the point where we're wrapping up. So Amanda, final words.
Final word is, I think this group is about friendship as well, and about building friendships. There's some people who sew really well, being seamstresses and you know, got overlockers and lots of machines and lots of experience. And then there are other people who making laundry bags is what they're about. Everybody is valued. Whatever you do is really, really appreciated, and we'd love you to use this group as in this difficult time to sort of build friendships and to tackle that sort of feeling of isolation and get in touch with other people. It's just amazing to have so many people join us today and just come to our house, to our sort of drive, and pick things up and share their experiences. So I just want to say thank you. Working with everybody is such a privilege for me, and I'm sure Becky would agree. It's just incredible. So can we give everybody a massive round of applause? Can we all do that? Like as a giant, like, woo!
I'll put the video of this up on our webpage in case somebody couldn't come. So the video of what we've done in the last hour will be up there for those that want to catch up if they couldn't get here. But we'll also find out on the WhatsApp or via email folks who just couldn't work out how to do Zoom, and we'll get in touch with them so that everybody has got a chance to be involved. Does everybody want to do a checkout? You could all say bye, unmute yourselves, big shout outs.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you in a few weeks. Bye.
See you. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Soon, hopefully.
See you soon.
Bye.
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 Bye, Christine. Bye.
Come out now.
Oh, there we go. See you.
So you just leave the meeting, those of you that are still here. Remove.
Can't see
Leave, or it's there.
You just gotta press the button. There we go. Last one. You okay?
I've done them.
Yeah.
Well done. Let me just put it on. Let me just stop the recording.